Take your seat. Okay, now Bhavishya,
Yes,
you use this name only or you use surname also? No, but you just use Bhavishya. Bhavishya. Okay, Bhavishya, you are from IIT Kanpur,
yes, sir.
but originally you have belonged to Ajmer,
Yes,
but you are from IIT Kanpur. After that, you did some internship for a year.
yes, sir. So during my third year, I did the internship.
That is just an intern, just for experience, that usual. But after that, you didn't do anything, but you are full time
Yes, sir.
doing this. Okay, now you are from Ajmer.
Yes, sir.
So Ajmer is a very famous place in Rajasthan. One of the most famous places, apart from, of course, the Dargah. Apart from Dargah, what are the other things you will suggest to me? I have not been to Ajmer. Suppose I have been, but I have not.
Yes, sir.
So as a local Ajmerian, what will you suggest for me to go and why?
Yes, sir. So apart from Dargah, first would be Pushkar, which has the only Brahma temple in the world. Then Nareli is a new series of Jain temples that have come up in the last decade. And third would be the Soni Ji Ki Nasiya.
Sorry, third will be
The Soni Ji Ki Nasiya,
Soni Ji Ki Nasiya.
which
Okay.
which is the golden temple, and it's more than 100 years old. It has the Rishabdev statue, one of the biggest.
They say in Jain tradition,
Yes, sir.
Rishabdev is considered equivalent to, actually all Jain Tirthankars are actually equivalent to certain Hindu gods. I mean, that it is said.
Yes, sir.
That is why Jainism is still flourishing. Otherwise, Hinduism is so prevalent, so dominant. So Jainism is that survives because they kind of equate their Tirthankars with some. Rishabdev is equated with some Hindu, very Hindu Trinity god. Who is that?
So I'm not sure, but sir, it's
What's the
generally Lord
basic?
Vishnu.
You have knowledge about Jainism.
Yes, sir. So I'm not sure, but it's usually Lord Vishnu.
Rishabdeva is something Lord Shiva. But you
I'm
just check
not
that.
sure. Yes.
But what is the basic core philosophy of Jainism? Core belief.
So core belief is Jinnah,
Like,
that every particle has life, Atma. So even non-living things, objects have Atma. So we should respect everything that leads to non-violence. And
Then
then the idea of Tirthankars, the idea of austerity, to get rid of all the negative the darkness in our soul through austerity.
your one of the hobbies is watching India relation,
So US China.
US China relation. What is your latest prescription on China? What should we India do to at least keep it at an acceptable level? It cannot be exceedingly good,
Yes, sir.
but at least the acceptable behavioral level, transactional level.
Yes, sir.
If 1, 2, 3 prescriptions.
Yes, sir. So first we should keep the peace and tranquility at border as the precondition.
How? Obviously, India wants that,
Yes,
but China sometimes they don't want.
Yes, sir. So first, in tactical terms, we need to build deterrence. So we need forward deployment until the Chinese side agree to de-escalate.
China wants India to withdraw from
Yes, sir.
LSE.
Yes,
So
sir.
India should India withdraw?
No, sir. So first we need peace and tranquility. We should need to ensure peace and tranquility. Then only we can de-escalate and withdraw.
Right now there is not much, no problem in the LSE. So is it the time for India to withdraw?
No, sir. Still, China has forward deployments. The PLA, the Chinese Liberation Army.
Now suppose China PLA starts withdrawing.
Yes, sir.
So should India then withdraw?
Yes, sir. So it should be a mutually agreed upon de-escalation.
Okay, then.
So then, in long term, we need to build strategic partnership. So Quad is the most prominent example, so that we can contain China. Then we need to invest in our neighborhood, so that Chinese influence is limited in South Asia.
But they say that China India disparity is so huge, economy as well as the
Yes, sir.
defense forces,
Yes,
huge,
sir. Yes.
that it will take years and years, maybe decades, for India to catch up. In a situation like that, how India can effectively control China?
So we have the advantage of the culture. So for example, in the neighborhood, we are culturally and historically close to our neighbors, which China lacks. And in global terms, we have good soft power and our value of open and democratic society. That advantage we can.
Democracy is to our advantage.
Yes, sir.
So what is the another advantage? India very has a strong advantage vis-a-vis China and many South Asian countries.
So India is an open society.
That is one democracy.
Yes.
Next.
So India is English is our lingua franca.
Exactly. This is the international language which India is so strong.
Yes, sir.
That is a great advantage.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You just mentioned Quad
Yes, sir.
as a kind of deterrent to China.
Yes, sir.
Now, in the recent, in the wake of this Ukraine-Russia war, now US has been, very much peeved with India's stand.
Yes.
They have expressed on so many different occasions.
Yes, sir.
Now, do you think that continuing in Quad is it any more relevant for India?
Yes, sir. So the basic logic of Quad still holds. Due to recent conflict, the media and the civil society in America and West in general has pressurized and has forced India to take a stand with them. But so Quad is different from a military alliance. It has a own agenda. It focuses on Indo-Pacific, and the basic logic, that is the convergence in value and strategic interest between India and US, still holds. So Quad is very relevant.
Okay, now today I came to know that Joe Biden
Yes, sir.
and Mr. Modi, Prime Minister of India,
Yes, sir.
they are holding a virtual
Yes.
talks with each other. What could be the agenda behind it?
So first would be to clarify each other's position and get a better understanding on the current conflict in Russia-Ukraine. Second, so India is also be participating in the 2+2 dialogue. So we need a positive agenda for that. And
But,
how?
don't you think it's the other way around? First, the 2+2 talks should have been held and to set the agenda for the summit talks between the two. It's the other way around. The heads of the nations are meeting first.
So the personal diplomacy can clarify the position on Russia-Ukraine. So Honorable Prime Minister can clarify that India's stance on Ukraine is a neutral one.
Do you think that India should mediate between Russia and Ukraine?
Yes, sir.
If an opportunity comes.
Yes, sir. So India has taken a neutral stand. It has also stressed the territorial integrity, political independence, and sovereignty of Ukraine, while at the same time abstaining on votes against Russia at multilateral fora. So, and Prime Minister Modi has participated in talks with both President of Ukraine Zelensky and Mr. Putin. So India has a neutral position. It has trust of both sides, so it can negotiate.
But India's neutral position is tilted towards Russia basically. Ukraine would not see neutral stand as neutral.
Yes. So among all the major powers, India has the greatest trust of both sides. So China is seen as more closer to Russia, while the West is seen closer to Ukraine. So India is one of the only major countries that can talk for both sides.
Okay, now let's change this topic.
Yes.
Now, do you understand what are local self-government bodies?
Yes, sir.
What are these?
So local self-government bodies are the third tier of our government. So in villages it's the panchayat, and in the urban area it's municipality.
How are they structured in the rural areas?
So in the rural areas, first there's panchayat, then there's block level, then there's the Jila Samiti at the. It's a three-tier system. Yes, sir. Jila
in Rajasthan.
Yes, sir.
Okay, why is Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti so revered?
So he was known as Garib Nawaz for his view towards the poor and their betterment. He's also famous for fulfilling the wishes of any of the devotees. So famously, Mughal Emperor Akbar.
What did he do in his lifetime so we remember him, or I mean, there is such a big dargah
Yes,
in
sir.
the name of him.
Yes, sir. So he was a Sufi saint. He he promoted syncretism.
From where did he come to Ajmer?
So he started from Persia, and then in 13th century, his final place was Ajmer.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
How do you pronounce your name?
So Bhavishya.
Bhavishya.
Yes, sir.
And who gave you this name?
So my father.
Father.
Yes, sir.
And how does he explain giving this name to you?
So, so he decided before my birth. So
No, didn't you ask him as to why was he keen on this? This is a unique name. It's a good name.
yes, sir.
But like, I mean, what made him choose this name for you?
So he described me as my parents' Bhavishya.
And India's Bhavish too?
Yes, hopefully.
Of course.
Yes, sir.
Of course, yes. What is the bhavishya of paper leaks in Rajasthan and other states? Very often it happens.
Yes, sir.
Serious, important examinations.
Yes, sir.
Either they are not happening in time and vacancies they remain unfilled. But when it happens, last minute there is a paper leak.
Yes, sir.
Which was the last paper leak in Rajasthan?
So there have been multiple such scandals, and recently, so the REIT exam paper was.
Name one.
So the REIT exam, if I remember correctly.
Okay. This relates to?
So the state, I think it's the state level engineering exam, but so I'm not sure.
What about teachers?
Yes,
For
sir.
teachers.
Yes, sir. The state level government exam for teachers.
Why does it happen?
So because the states lack capability to ensure that the process is fair and
The
just.
civil servants?
Yes. So there have been allegations that the state level bureaucracy is not as powerful and it's easily influenced.
It doesn't happen in UPSC, or does it?
Sir, I don't think so. No, sir.
You don't?
No, sir. It does not happen in UPSC.
It happened
Uh,
in the past sometime?
so I'm not aware of a whole paper leak, but there have been irregularities that have occurred, but there have been very few.
Okay, last bit on this.
Yes, sir.
What would you do to ensure no leakages?
So at the state level, I'll use the procedures that are used by the central exam like UPSC or JEE. Then I'll try to maintain a digital trail so that all these first the possibility of a leak is reduced, and if there's reduced, then accountability can be ensured.
Accountability.
Yes.
And close monitoring
Yes, sir.
at every level.
Yes, sir.
What is GOP of India?
GOP of India.
Yeah.
So, by GOP you mean Grand Old Party?
Yes. Yes.
So Congress is usually.
Congress.
Yes.
Why it is on decline in most of the country?
Yes. So there are multiple reasons, of course, but first would be the frustration against dynastic politics, the lack of intra-party democracy, the rise of the middle class. That
As a student of political science,
Yes, sir.
how do you react to the PM's very often he said in the recent past, dynastic politics is the biggest threat to Indian democracy.
Yes, sir.
How do you respond to that?
So certainly dynastic politics is one of the biggest threats, and as we are seeing in Sri Lanka, it can have adverse effect for the country and its people.
But in a country like India, can it be done away with when majority of the parties
Yes, sir.
in power also,
Yes, sir.
they are running on this principle only?
So definitely it will take time to completely get rid of dynastic politics, but it can certainly.
There is
be reduced.
there is no way that it can be stopped
Sir?
suddenly, all of a sudden, by law.
So why a top-down legal solution is difficult, but we should promote intra-party democracy. That will definitely reduce.
Okay, my last question to you on international relations.
Yes.
Ukraine is all over. What and who
Yes, sir.
can bring about ceasefire and peace between the two countries?
If Ukraine agrees with Russia on a neutral Ukraine, demilitarized, that then they can, and the third parties that like India, China, Israel, and Turkey are trying to negotiate a peace agreement.
Why not US?
So Russia.
US, if it gives up its ego
Yes.
and stops talking of getting Putin into criminal charges, don't you think US will be a better deal maker?
Yes, so certainly, but US would not change its conduct because it's an interest that the war continues and Russia weakens. So.
Anyway, I leave you there, but there is nothing final in politics, they say. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Bhavishya,
Yes, sir.
you are sure that you have no interest in astrology?
No, sir.
No interest. But in your hobby column, you have indicated that you are predicting and forecasting market conditions. What is that?
So by forecasting, I mean I try to assign probability to global geopolitical events. For example, presidential election in USA or recently in France, or the possibility of a war, such things.
Okay. China and Pakistan are
Yes.
consistently hacking our websites,
Yes.
external affairs and PMO and other things. What countermeasures our country has taken?
So we already have a national cybersecurity policy. We have CERT, which does surveillance and monitoring of our cyberspace. We are slowly building offensive capabilities too. So, for example, last year, in response to the Chinese and the Pakistani hack, we also responded by through offensive action. Further, we are building our cyber capabilities in both military and local police. So, for example, Kerala has the Cyber Dome project.
Okay. Again, from your hobbies column, I find that you are an amateur China, US
Yes,
watching.
yes,
So you have some interest in international relations,
yes,
and I'm very
yes,
glad to note that IFS is your number one
yes,
preference.
yes.
This is something very, very gratifying. These days developments are taking place very fast.
Yes.
Security development, global. 2-3 days back, if you note from the newspapers, that Chinese foreign minister visited India,
Yes.
had some talks with our foreign ministers,
Yes.
and the newspaper report says that he was pressurizing India to withdraw its troops from the border.
Yes.
Are you aware of that?
Yes.
And then today, our Honorable Prime Minister is also having virtual meetings with Mr. Biden, President. And our Raksha Mantri, DM, Defense Minister, and Foreign Minister are also visiting
Yes.
America.
Yes.
So all these developments are taking place within 2-3 days
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Do you suspect something big coming up in this region?
So yes, sir. In this region as well as globally. So it's expected that the current war and the current flux in global politics will lead to a new world order. It can.
What about Indo-Pacific? That is one of the topics we will discuss.
Yes, sir.
Our Prime Minister.
Yes, sir.
So,
So India is India with alongside USA is pursuing its agenda of free and open Indo-Pacific to counter the Chinese actions both in the South China Sea as well as in the Indo-Pacific region.
so we can say that we can safely assume that Chinese motives are suspect.
Yes, sir.
Can we say that? We
Yes.
can't trust China. That
Yes,
is.
sir.
Okay. I think that's all I have to ask.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So, Bhavish, you
Yes, sir.
have offered PSIR as optional, and amateur US and China watching
Yes, sir.
is your hobby as
Yes,
well.
sir.
Now, that's really that's wonderful. Did you get a chance to read a book called The Long Game? China's grand strategy to displace American order by Rush Doshi.
Yes, sir.
Have you read it?
Yes, sir.
Just give me 2 or 3 points.
Yes, sir.
What does Rush says? Those 3-4 stages
Yes, sir.
that China has utilized.
So, Rush Doshi was part of the Trump administration.
Okay.
He describes in The Long Game the grand strategy of China of first attaining regional hegemony as the hegemon of Asia, then becoming a global hegemon and creating a Sino-centric world order.
Okay.
So China is quickly expanding. It's revisionist, revanchist. It's trying to gain territory in Himalayas, South China Sea, East China Sea,
Okay.
around its neighbor. It's the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, derives its legitimacy from promising growth and stability to Chinese people, and CCP has a clear agenda of controlling China.
So I was on the phases.
Yes,
One
sir.
was consolidation phase.
Yes, sir. So consolidation, then hide and bide the time under Deng era.
Right.
Then sir rise,
Peaceful
the
rise.
and now the China dream of India.
Okay. Now, what prompted? Do you feel that Pax Americana? Firstly, in one line, what does Pax Americana mean?
Yes, sir.
And do you think Pax Americana is on the decline now?
Yes. So Pax Americana, like Pax Romana, means peace and stability under American empire.
Excellent. Okay.
Yes, and so there are definitely signs of decline of Pax Americana. The world order is now more multipolar, but still there are two. It's multipolar with strong bipolar characteristics. So China
Okay.
and USA.
Okay. And what prompted Americans
Yes, sir.
to cozy up to Chinese?
Yes.
What was their basic calculation?
So it was Henry Kissinger's triangular diplomacy. So they
Right.
wanted better relationship with China vis-a-vis Russia after the Sino-Soviet split in
Yeah,
1970.
that was one factor.
Yes, sir.
And what were they expecting?
So
Opening, in improving their ties and
yes, sir.
drawing them into the market system. What was their expectation?
So that modernization and growth will lead to a liberal democracy in China.
Absolutely. Wonderful. There are no permanent friends or permanent enemies. There are only permanent interests.
Yes, sir.
Now, this has been ascribed to whom?
So I'm not sure, but realists like Morgenthau have seen,
Okay.
but I'm not
Okay.
sure, sir.
Okay. And what is your view on the Clash of Civilizations? You must have read that book,
Yes, sir.
Huntington.
Yes, sir. So when Huntington in late 90s suggested Clash of Civilization as an alternative, initially it was rejected, but now it has become more relevant. First with the rise of Islamism, then with the Clash of Civilization between Russia, China, USA, the Western civilization.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bhavishya. You can wait outside. We'll call you back for
Yes,
some time.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Bhavishya, sit down, please.
Thank you, sir.
Interview is over. Relaxed. Bhavishya, पहले तो ये बताइए first, what is your impression about your interview? How will you assess yourself?
Yes, sir. So parts of the interview are not good. So initially, for example, the non-IR related, I think I could have answered them better. Apart from that,
How will you mark? Suppose scale of 1 to 10.
so maybe 7.
Okay, in fact, you have got enormous potential. This panel is unanimous in their view that you have got enormous potential. Your choice of subject optional is so perfect. Your preparation very perfect, everything. You're not even 25. You got still 6 months, 24 and a half. So obviously, you are a young boy. So, छोटे small things, obviously, these are things because you are absolutely in the zone. I mean, there is no doubt, depending on your marks in it, written, of course, that nobody knows, not even the chairman UPSC knows, so obviously nobody knows, but notwithstanding that. So you have got enormous, but even in this standalone thing also you have got enormous potential to think small things. You are giving a little impression of a little over eagerness, because your answers, you are so, you are a IT engineer, you already processed the answer. I mean, even where the question is shot out, you know the anticipated question, you already processed in your mind. So you are kind of coming out fast and thick. Give an impression of, even if you know the answer, you have processed it, your computer, brain computer has already processed it, but you already know, framed it also, but give an impression that you are thinking, processing it, give a few seconds, maybe you are already, so a little acting, you have to do a play acting. This is basically, entire thing is a charade, it is a play acting. You know, it's a charade, it's a dumb charade, you call it a dumb charade, but it's some kind of charade. So give an impression, I'm just thinking, well, they are very important, big guys, they are five wise men, the enormous experience, enormous knowledge. Yes, give an impression, humility. Basically, that all boils down to humility. You are 24 and a half, nothing, and they are 60, pushing 60, enormous experience, professional, highest. So give an impression that you have a humble, humility. After all, you have to be humble, because that is such an august as a panel. They will all, each one of them is an august panel.
Yes.
So give an impression. So when you give that humility, so you start thinking, a little bit of thinking, and give a slowly. Sometimes your voice is, when you are your thoughts through sometimes you are etc. just dying down your voice, because you are not really explaining everything to the end. You are because you think the questioner already understands. So say what you have to say clearly till the last word. Sequentially, sir first, second, third, fourth, stop. You know how to stop also. Counter. Sorry. Counter. What I mean is, supplementaries will follow. They will ask. You want to go deep, they will ask. Second, when you came in, and you just stood before the chair and you say, may I sit, sir? This is a faux pas you will never ever commit. Program in your mind. Even if the chairman keeps you waiting for 1 minute, you keep on waiting for 1 minute.
Yes.
Relaxed, good morning, and don't everybody, good morning, sir, good morning, address the chair, good morning, sir, and if you say, ma'am, good morning, ma'am, a little eye contact, and stand, because you will have to come, the chair is here, you will come from the door, so chair will be here, this thing. I mean, here it is a little different, geography will be a little different there, so you have to go through the door, and the chair is, you have to face the chair, the board, so you have to, you approach the chair from behind actually. So like that. So the headrest, the backrest is before you, so you have to go and sit. So don't even hold the backrest. Some people will be there, then hold the backrest and very eagerness to sit and get done with it. This is an impression they are over eager. That is why I say you are over eager, appear to be. You should be eager, obviously. It is the most important period of your life, the day of your life, the half an hour of your life. But don't give that impression. You are relaxed. You have come, you have called, you have been called, you have been given the opportunity, and you have come. You are to do a thorough professional job. So, but and say, yes, sir, thank you, good morning, sir, ma'am, and wait. Sometimes it's a ploy. They'll keep on waiting. Just you want to see under pressure how you react. This is they are also playing some games, isn't it? So that first impression will be bad. There sits there. No, you are not. It is a part of your. As soon as you enter that room, the door, past the door, your examination is already started. Even before you sit. the 5 into 2, 10 eyes are all looking at you. Every single body language they are working. They're seeing your facial muscles, seeing hand movement, seeing way you are walking, seeing everything they are seeing. You are opening your button, not opening, everything they are seeing. Watching. They are not giving, they make you very comfortable, and that is part of their job. So that is second is don't feel too comfortable there. Although you should be feel comfortable, relaxed, but alert.
Yes, sir.
Alert, because there is nothing informal about the entire thing. This is actually deadly formal thing, but give an impression sometimes. So 30-35 minutes is a deadly formal thing. So that, and the questions you are answering correctly, very absolutely, you are thorough. The choice of option is so nice because you really include but Ajmer etc. a little more thorough study, because Ajmer you are talking about some kind of a religious thing, but there is a Pushkar is a Mela, there is a beautiful, there is a very world famous Mela you are not mentioned. So give an impression only you are think of religion. Jain religion, suppose somebody asks little the Brahma, the mythological, all these things are little studies etc. And Rajasthan as a whole, many things we did not ask, like economy as a whole, Indian, not only concentrated on the foreign affairs, but India, pandemic, economy, effect, then India's different problems, internal security, because we are talking of the external security, but whatever internal security, rail corridors, northeast problem, the recent bills passed. There are so many things, sociological problems, political opposition, 3 tiers are as asked, but the lot of governance problems, various state disparities, the economic and other social disparities, the human development in these various states. Ajmer, Rajasthan is your own state, so what about that? Kanpur you study, so UP, Rajasthan, interstate. So all these, when is your interview?
So 10th of May.
Still time, lot of time. And so you slowly, economic newspaper you must be studying, one you must every day.
Yes,
and your voice is very beautiful voice, deep voice, which is really a good voice, but you are so fast that sometimes you are articulate every single word clearly. That don't give an impression that you are eating some words. Towards the end, eating kind. You are just so good, though you are just eating, etc. like that. So you are just dying down the eating. So you can practice a little bit before the mirror or something. On paper, just read every single you want to say, or you want to visualize something, some question, answer. Some ask yourself some, and then say the entire thing, point wise, sequentially. Most important, first point, second, next, stop. Like that. You want to ask anything?
No.
Thank you.
You want to sport beard or you want to go clean shaven?
So I would go clean shaven in the final.
Okay. So you want to work, then obviously, you
Yes.
understand that. Clean shaven means clean shaven.
Yes, sir.
So thank you.
Thank you so much.
All the best.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.